Got it. All right, you guys. Cheers. Cheers to Monday. Cheers to the U Factor. Cheers to seeing all of your faces. I'm just scrolling through because I want to feel your energy. Hi, Donna and Julie and Allison, Gretch, Sammy, Patty, Becca, Tara. You must always drive at this time, Tara. I feel like you're in your car every week. Girlfriend, kudos to you for getting on.
I feel like I'm in the car all the time.
Yeah, I love it. I love seeing you like in your car. It like,
well, thanks.
It makes me so happy.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, if you are able to turn your camera on, I ask you to do so. If not, I completely understand if you're, driving or have something else going on. But we're going to talk about a really powerful topic tonight, one of my favorite topics to talk about, truly. And really, I think one of the most powerful mindset shifts and really a huge piece to the U Factor. When Julie, Allison, and I got together and really started thinking about and planning and praying about and manifesting this series, the U Factor, we were rooted and dedicated to providing you and us truly something more than just the action pieces to how to build an Isagenix business. Because we know, and you all know, that you can have all the action and you can have all the skills. But if you don't go to work on what's in between your ears, that's when we see people quit this business. And I know that Isagenix is more than just a shake. It's more than just earning income, right? Jim and Kathy are committed to growing human beings. And you won't leave this experience with Isagenix without growing pretty much every area of your life: parenting, marriage, relationships, your JOB, alongside your health, your wellness, and your bank account, if you choose. And so tonight, I'm excited to talk about self-discipline. Self-discipline and consistency, but more importantly, self-discipline. And this conversation, you guys, has zero shame attached to it. So if me just saying self-discipline made you sweat from your armpits and like other areas of your body because you're like, oh boy, she's bringing the fire, and I already feel shame attached to how I've shown up in this 4-week experience of the U Factor. And I said I was going to do this and I didn't do this. And I said I was going to get on the power half hour and I didn't get on that. And I haven't sent any messages this week, and I haven't enrolled someone in 150 years. And right, like, this conversation is not shameful. So like, release any shame that you're feeling. I do not want you to hop off tonight feeling down or any shame. Okay. And I know when we talk about self-discipline in Isagenix and beyond Isagenix, a lot of people carry shame because self-discipline is a muscle. And some of us are born with a really solid self-discipline, and some of us are not. That's just the truth. And those of us that are born with a gift of self-discipline, our job, my job, is to help other people grow their self-discipline muscle. Okay? Yeah, Julie, discipline is super low in her strengths finders, right? It's very high in mine, right? So just know that like this call tonight is really meant to bring awareness about your personal self-discipline, and then to challenge you and grow you and help strengthen your self-discipline muscle, okay? Because in any business, in any area of life, self-discipline is so important. If you have children and you're parenting, If you're not consistent with a level of self-discipline, your kid is going to bulldoze over you. Okay. If you're using the Isagenix products and you have wellness goals and you're kind of using them and you're kind of not using them, right? And you have very low self-discipline, you're not probably going to see the results you're striving for, right? If you're in a relationship and you're not consistent with a level of self-discipline about prioritizing your relationships aren't probably going to be super joyful, right? Just like in this business, if you're not engaging in action alongside growing yourself and working on what's in between the ears with a level of self-discipline, right? It's going to be really hard to grow a business with Isagenix. Okay, because we are in the business of serving and blessing people, but that means we have to do it with a level of self-discipline. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of an activity towards the end of the call that I hope will create some momentum for you, right? The last couple of calls have been amazing, and I hope you've taken away exactly what you needed to take away from each one of those calls. But this call is really meant to bring awareness and then infuse a little bit of action, okay? Because I know it's really easy to log into these calls and absorb the info, and then Tuesday morning comes around and maybe you don't do anything in the way of your business until you get on the next Monday night U-Factor call, right? Okay, I see some heads shaking, right? So this is meant to be awareness, but also a little bit of action to create some momentum at the end of this call. Okay, so if you feel like you truly believe that you are the secret sauce to your Isagenix experience, income and beyond, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. If you firmly believe over the course of the last 4 weeks that you are the secret sauce, okay, that it's not your not supportive husband, that it's not your kids being distractions, it's not your lack of organization, it's not your small network, it's not your hatred for social media, okay? If you firmly believe that you are the secret sauce, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat, okay? Okay, and if you did not drop a 1 in the chat, there's no shame, okay? Maybe you're still blaming something else or someone else. I want you to look at the names of the people who did drop a 1 in the chat, okay? I want you to reach out to 1 or 2 of those people between now and next Monday, okay? And I want you to have some conversation with them about how they gave themselves permission to be the secret sauce to their Isagenix experience, okay? Because a huge part of self-discipline and consistency is recognizing that you hold the power. You hold the torch, and the torch is burning brightly. Visualize it. You are holding the Olympic torch, and it is blazing red. You are the secret sauce. And until you truly believe that, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really challenging to take ownership and create a level of self-discipline, okay? We heard about network investing and the comp plan last week. We've talked about vision. I kicked off week 1 with an empowerment call, right? And if you're still not a 1 in the chat, this week is about becoming a 1 in the chat. So leverage someone else on this call who's a 1 in the chat, okay? In the chat, I want to see a celebration. I want to see a celebration over the course of the last 4 weeks. A celebration from your experience with the you factor so far. Okay. I want to see some celebrations. Maybe you've gotten on all 4 calls. Maybe you've sent some scary messages. Maybe you actually did what Allison challenged you to do and you've learned the comp plan, or you've sent the network investing video. Okay. Maybe you've shared your vision after Julie's call, right? Okay. So drop some celebrations in the chat. Okay. Consistency and self-discipline. Okay. Yes. Allison sent 2 messages. Awesome. 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 Okay. Consistency and self-discipline. All right. It's a muscle. It's a muscle. You must exercise it, right? You must have a bigger reason than fear in this business. You must want to pay off the debt. You must want to quit your job. You must want to stay home with the babies. You must want to help someone else get out of debt. You must want to desperately travel the world. You must want to give to that organization that's on your heart. You must want to expand your family through adoption. You must want to change the generational financial pattern of your family. You must want, right? You must want something so rooted, right, that you're willing to consistently exercise the self-discipline muscle, right? And that goes back to Julie's call on vision. If you haven't found that anchor this week, your goal is to find that anchor. Have that conversation that touches your pain points, because that's when self-discipline happens. Self-discipline and action happens, right? When your why is bigger than your excuses. Your why is bigger than your fear. Okay, right? Okay, that's self-discipline. And here's the cool thing about self-discipline. Think about your product experience, right? You purchase your first 30 day. You have Ionix in your body for 7 days. You crush your first 2-day cleanse. Your clothes are feeling better. You might have hopped on the scale and saw results you haven't seen in 10 years, right? You're sleeping better, right? Because you had self-discipline. You had self-discipline. And then the cool thing is you saw results. And behavior momentum is a powerful thing. You saw results through your self-discipline and action. And now all of a sudden you have this momentum. And I get excited about that because momentum is powerful. When you feel that momentum, when you send those messages, sharing the comp plan, when you hop off that 3-way Zoom about network investing, right? You have momentum. And then you want to share with more people, and you want to share more with more people, and you want to share with more people. And all of a sudden, that snowball is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And at the same time, that self-discipline muscle is growing and growing and growing and growing, right? Self-discipline breeds momentum. And momentum is sexy. Momentum is attractive. People want to be with people who are in action, who are in momentum, who are excited, right? Who are committed, who are doing the work, right? That's you. That's you, right? People are attracted to self-discipline, right? People want people in their life who are committed, right? And who show up and are bold and are willing to take chances, okay? Don't be afraid to be that person in and out of your Isagenix business, right? And you want to attract those people into your Isagenix business. You'd be crazy not not want to, right? Those are the people you want to grow this business with. The people who are going to show up and are willing to exercise that self-discipline muscle with you, right? But you've got to be willing to grow that muscle yourself. Okay. All right. And that's what this call is all about, is challenging you to recognize that self-discipline breeds momentum, and momentum grows this business, and momentum attracts other people with and are wanting self-discipline. Okay. When you're selling the products, when you're consistent and have a level of self-discipline, you see results. And when you see results, you talk about your results. And when you talk about your results, you enroll other people, right? It's really hard to enroll people in Isagenix when you're not using the products with self-discipline, right? Because that unconsciously chips away at your belief in the products. This business is no different. When you're not in action, when you're not sending the messages, when you're not setting up the three-way calls, when you're not doing the personal growth work, right? When you're not being willing to share the network investing video or the comp plan or inviting people to take a look, when none of that is happening, right? It's really hard to feel momentum. And in return, it's really hard to see your business growing, right? And it chips away at your belief that you can actually do this, or that this business model is a really lucrative, real business model, right? That's self-discipline. It's showing up in your business at that level that you identified at the beginning of the U factor, right? And again, if that was a 7 and in the last 2 weeks you've been more of a 4.5, that's okay. No shame. This is your self-awareness reminder and your empowerment, right? To show back up at a 7 for the remaining weeks of the U factor, right? Okay. So I want you to take a minute. I want you to write down, because remember, I mentioned the fastest way to grow the self-discipline muscle is action. Allison and I were just chatting with this on the Power Half Hour, right? She sent out, I think she said 2 or 3 messages to salons. And she's like, and then I wanted to keep going, right? And I hopped off a great call on network investing with a gentleman in Tyler Dickerhook. And I was like, I want to have more of these conversations, even though I was sweating and scared out of my mind, right? Okay. That's what self-discipline and momentum is about. Okay. So I want you to write down 3 action items. We haven't talked a lot about action yet in the U factor. We were laying the foundation for success. Tonight, I want to talk about action. Okay. So 1 action item, okay, in the way of the products. Okay. Because I truly do believe, and Jim and Kathy Coover would say the same thing. We've got to be products of the product, right? We've got to be product of the products, whatever that product or products is for you. 1 action item that you're committed to this week in the way of self-discipline when it comes to the products. Okay. If you haven't cleansed, I decided I'm kicking off a cleanse day tonight, and I would love an accountability partner. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're struggling to get into action with the products and sharing the products and inviting people to take a look because you aren't cleansing. And you're like, ooh, I don't know. I'm not feeling that IsaGlow anymore because I haven't cleansed in a year, right? Okay. Maybe that's the action item in the way of products for you. Or maybe you haven't tried the skincare line yet. You're going to order that this week, right? Okay. So 1 action item in the way of products. Number 2, 1 action item in your business. 1 action item this week that you're going to commit to with a level of self-discipline when it comes to growing your Isagenix business. Maybe you're going to create a new list of 100 people. Your well has run dry. You're not feeling super enthused. You're feeling like your network is gone. You're going to sit down and create a new list of 100 people, or maybe 50 people, right? Maybe you're going to commit to a 3x3x3 every day this week. Okay. One action item in the business category. And then one action item when it comes to personal growth this week. Maybe you haven't shared your vision. You're going to message Julie this week and you're going to share your vision with Isagenix. Maybe you haven't learned the comp plan, or maybe you haven't listened to the network investing video with Tyler Kelly or Lindsay yet. You're going to do that. And then you're going to message Allison for accountability this week. Okay. One action item in the personal growth category, or maybe you know that self-discipline is a big challenge for you. Okay. You're going to message me and you're going to say, okay, your message hit the nail on the head. I struggle with consistency and self-discipline. I'm owning it. I'm voicing it out loud. I have a level of self-awareness about it now, and I'm committed to showing up differently in my Isagenix business. Maybe that's it for you this week. That's huge. Okay. So those 3 action items with a level of self-discipline this week. Okay. All right. For the next 5 minutes, because I'm all about action and I'm all about creating momentum. Okay. For the next 5 minutes together, and I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. If you're on the Peloton, you're giggling at that. But for the next 5 minutes, we as a group, we're going to exercise that self-discipline muscle. And I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to show up in a way that maybe you're going to be tempted not to show up in. Okay. So don't worry. I'm not going to make you like do any sort of crazy things, but we're going to do a 3x3x3 together right now. Okay. So I want you to get your phone out or get your computer out. You know, the opposite of what you're currently using for this Zoom call. And we're going to get into action, and you're going to exercise that self-discipline momentum muscle, right? And there's going to be some of you on the call that are going to like, you're listening to me, but you're not really going to do this. All right. And I want to challenge you to show up differently. I want to challenge you to actually do this. Okay. So for the next 5 or 6 minutes, I want you to send out 3 messages to anyone that's on your heart and just get in touch with them. Okay. You have 60 seconds to send out 3 messages to anyone that's on your heart to strike up a normal human being conversation. Happy birthday. I've been thinking about you. Oh my gosh, my friend Jamie, I'm on this call on self-discipline. I remember this conversation we had last week, whatever it is. 3 messages, go. All right, awesome. Okay, you guys, so those 3 messages took about 60 seconds, okay? We all have an extra 60 seconds somewhere in our day. Okay, so next, so that's the first column of a 3x3x3 if you have never done one before. The next column, I want you to follow up with 3 people you've shared Isagenix with. Maybe you sent a video last week. Maybe you shared the comp plan. Maybe you shared the network investing video. Maybe you've shared one of the product videos. Maybe it's someone who's asked questions about Isagenix, but you've not followed up with them. I want you to reach out to 3 people, 60 seconds, and go. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. 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 Okay, you guys, I can feel the momentum energy. I'm looking at faces and I know you're in action, which is so exciting. And I hope you feel that momentum too. Okay. Last but not least, 60 seconds. Okay. You're simply going to send or connect with 3 people in your Isagenix business. And if you're new and you don't have 3 people, that's okay. Okay. Reach out to 1, 3 people in your Isagenix business, right? And I want you to just check in on them. Hey, do you want to cleanse with me on Thursday? Hey, I'm in this U Factor. I'm loving it so far. I would love for you to join us. Hey, I watched this network investing video. You came to mind right away. I would love for you to take the time to watch this. I cannot wait to hear your feedback. Okay. 3 people in your Isagenix business. I see Julie voice recording. That away, girl. Awesome. All right, you guys. Okay. Awesome. Okay, here's the awareness. So if you exercised the self-discipline muscle for the 3x3x3, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. Okay, again, this is not shame. Okay, if you exercise the 3x3x3, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. Awesome, Darlene. Good. All right, you guys, because here's the thing. 0.5. I love it, Julie. I love it. Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. Awesome. Yes, 0.5. I love it. Because here's the thing, you guys. The other piece to self-discipline, it's getting into action. It's being willing to lean in. It's being willing to do something with consistency to exercise that muscle and create momentum. But it's also about having people like these people in the U Factor that are going to hold you accountable, right? And again, not with shame. Show up at the 0.5, right? We celebrate that, right? But it's about having people that are going to hold you accountable, because that's where growth happens. That's where growth happens. And truthfully, that's where deep, meaningful relationships happen, right? Think about your relationships. The people that don't hold you accountable and let you off the hook, you don't value those relationships as much as the people who are real with you and hold you accountable, because they know that you're sitting on massive growth, right? That's why we love our Isagenix people so much, because we're not afraid to hold each other accountable and stretch each other. And that's what the you factor is all about. Okay. So if you showed up at a 1 or a 0.5, amazing. And if you didn't do anything that I talked about these last 5 minutes, that's okay. But I want you to be aware that there's a reason that you did not exercise that self-discipline muscle. And that's worth a conversation, because I love you. We love you, right? And the you factor is about helping you grow, right? And there's a reason, right, that you did not show up for a 3x3x3. Okay. And we want to help you break down that reason so that we can help you grow your self-discipline muscle and in return grow your Isagenix business. Okay. So in closing, you guys, self-discipline is a muscle. It's simple. It shouldn't be hard. Okay. It's not about excuses. I always say this with love, right? If you can't show up to something, if you can't do the action, right? One of the first steps in the personal growth journey for you is to stop justifying it. If you can't show up to the call because X, Y, and Z is happening, right? Just don't show up to the call, right? If you can't do something, don't feel like you have to justify it in any area of your life. We as human beings are so used to giving an excuse and a reason for just about everything, right? Like I say, I don't expect to have a 6-pack because I'm not giving up pizza, right? Right? There's seasons that I don't expect my business to grow because I'm not showing up in a way that's going to grow my business, right? There's seasons where I'm not going to be a really stellar mom, right? And I'm not going to give an excuse about it. I'm just not going to be the number one mom on the block, right? Like, so if you find yourself in the habit when it comes to self-discipline of always justifying and always having to give a reason to kind of like let yourself off the hook a little bit, I want to challenge you to stop doing that. If you can commit to a 1x1x1, awesome, right? You don't have to justify why you can't commit to a 3x3x3. Okay. I see some head shaking. So I know this is making sense because there's a lot of power in not spending your life justifying what you're not doing. Okay. Right. Because then we train our brain to think in like negative thinking patterns because we're constantly self-sabotaging and showing up and telling our brain that we're like really shitty people because we're not doing what we said we were going to do. Right. Okay. If you quit a cleanse day, don't give an excuse. Just say like, I quit my cleanse day because I wanted to quit my cleanse day. Not like I quit my cleanse day because my best friend invited me to dinner and the dinner was really good and I felt bad saying no. And so I'm going to do you just quit your cleanse day and it's all good. No shame attached to it. Right. Okay. All right. So I challenge you this week to exercise the self-discipline muscle. I challenge you to do it with zero shame. I challenge you to get into action, to feel that momentum and the energy that so many of us feel in this Isagenix build, right? And I challenge you to let go of the verbal justifications and the nonverbal justifications of not doing what you say or think you should be doing. Okay. Right. That should feel super empowering. And there's going to be a few of you that are going to get off this call and have a light bulb moment like, holy shit, thank you. That is the permission I needed. Okay. All right. So cheers to self-discipline. I'm happy to hang on. I know, Allison, you asked about the network investing, and I'm happy to share a little bit about that. But we're now 7 minutes over, and I want to value everyone's time. Okay.
We can do it next week. We can do it next week, Jamie.
Perfect. Okay. Let's exercise those self-discipline muscles to create momentum and feel the joy in this business. All right, you guys, have an awesome week. Can't wait to hear about your wins this week.